Rent Agreement 2025. Now living on rent will no longer be difficult. The story of a new India. It was around 11 at night. In a quiet, old lane of the city, there was a small flat whose window was lit by the yellow glow of a streetlight. Inside, a girl named Pooja was packing her belongings. Her hands were trembling, and confusion filled her eyes. Her landlord had suddenly increased the rent without notice and told her, "If you don't pay the new rent by tomorrow, vacate the house." Pooja tried reasoning with him, but she received only one reply: "My house, my rules." That night, Pooja realized that living on rent is not just about shifting homes. Many times, it becomes a battle of dignity, safety, and rights. But she didn't know that a big change was coming in the country. A change that would bring relief to the lives of millions of tenants like her. And today's story is about understanding that change, Rent Agreement 2025. A regulation that is set to transform the lives of both tenants and landlords forever. In India, living on rent has always been somewhat uncertain. Landlords had their own rules, tenants had their own compulsions, and there was no fast or fair method to resolve disputes. Some landlords demanded a 2-month deposit, while others said, "You will get the house only if you pay 6 months upfront." In some areas, landlords increased rent arbitrarily, while in others, tenants withheld rent for months, troubling the landlords. This imbalance caused years of tension and stress for millions. But now the picture is becoming clearer, because the Rent Rules 2025 have shaped the rental system into something modern, fair, and transparent. The new Rent Agreement 2025 is based on the Model Tenancy Act and recent budget reforms, and its purpose is simple: to make renting easier. Think about it. In a country where more than 30 million people live in rental homes, modernizing rental rules isn't just a policy, it is a necessary change. The new rent agreement standardizes every aspect of renting, whether it is the validity of the agreement, the security deposit, eviction rules, or the norms for rent increase. The biggest benefit of this new system is that now the rights of both tenants and landlords are clearly defined, and if there is any dispute between them, it will be resolved within 60 days. This change is being considered one of the biggest structural shifts in Indian real estate. According to the new rules, any rental agreement must now be registered within 2 months of signing. This registration can be done on online state portals or at the local registry office. Earlier, many people avoided this process, sometimes due to lack of time, sometimes due to incomplete information, and sometimes simply out of convenience. But the biggest loss was suffered by the tenant, because an unregistered agreement weakened the tenant's legal rights. Rent Agreement 2025 eliminates this uncertainty. If the registration is delayed beyond 2 months, a penalty of 5,000 will be imposed. This penalty applies to both the landlord and the tenant, ensuring that both take responsibility for completing the agreement on time. For the first time, rental housing in India is being regulated in such an organized and disciplined manner. For years, landlords decided the security deposit according to their own will. In some places it was 2 months, in some places 10 months. And in some cases they demanded an entire year's rent as a deposit. This system was one of the biggest financial burdens for tenants. The new rule ends this burden. Now, for residential homes, only 2 months rent can be charged as a security deposit. This is considered one of the biggest relief measures in India. Think about it. In cities like Bengaluru, people were forced to pay 6, 8, even 12 months of rent as deposit. Now, with just a 2-month deposit, they can secure a home. This will significantly reduce the financial pressure on millions of people and bring them one step closer to the dream of stable rental housing. Similarly, for commercial properties, the deposit limit has been fixed at 6 months. This benefits shopkeepers, small businesses, and startups who often had to lock in huge amounts as security deposits. Rent Agreement 2025 supports startup culture. gives breathing space to small businesses, and brings stability to rental economics. Now the biggest factor, rent increase. Earlier, many landlords would suddenly raise the rent within a year. No limits, no timeline, no prior notice. Tenants would reluctantly accept it because shifting is expensive and finding a new house is difficult. But now this arbitrary power is gone. The new rule states that to increase rent, the landlord must give prior written notice, and the rent hike must follow the pattern already mentioned in the earlier agreement. This means no surprise rent hike. Tenants will no longer suffer sudden shocks and will be able to manage their budget with proper planning. Another major benefit of the new rent rules is that now a landlord cannot suddenly ask a tenant to vacate the house. The eviction rules are clear, transparent, and documented. If eviction is necessary, such as for personal use, major renovation, or rent non-payment, it must follow a proper notice period and a documented procedure. This eliminates the biggest fear tenants have, unjust eviction. Living on rent will no longer feel emotionally insecure, but will instead offer a sense of documented stability. But the story doesn't end with relief for tenants. The government has fully protected the interests of landlords as well, because rental housing can only grow when both sides trust the system. The biggest benefit for landlords is that the TDS limit on rent income has been increased from 2.4 lakh to 6 lakh. This reduces tax pressure on small landlords and improves cash flow. Earlier, many landlords fell into the TDS bracket easily, but now they can earn more rental income while enjoying simplified compliance. Another major change is that rent income has now been simplified under the income from housing property category. This means less paperwork, easier reporting, and predictable taxation. Landlords who keep their rent affordable or make energy-efficient upgrades in their homes, such as installing solar panels, LED lighting, or water-saving fixtures, can receive tax benefits through state schemes. This has a double advantage. Rent remains affordable, and homes become more sustainable. If a tenant defaults on rent 3 times or more, the landlord can easily take the case to the rent tribunal. This change benefits landlords because earlier, pursuing rent default legally was a long and complicated process. Now, the transparent and fast-track tribunal system makes the procedure simpler. The burden on regular courts will also reduce, as rental disputes will now be handled by specialized rent courts. The most interesting change is the formation of rental courts and tribunals. Earlier, disputes between landlords and tenants dragged on for years. Some cases took 8 years, others even 20 years with no decision. Rent Agreement 2025 states that every dispute must be resolved within 60 days. This is an unheard of milestone in India's rental justice system. Rental disputes will no longer be decades-long legal battles. They will now be handled with the efficiency of a fast-track judiciary. This will increase trust in rental housing, and more people will rent out their property without fear. The reaction on social media after this change was equally interesting. A user in Bangalore joked, "Bangalore ke landlords ab rona shuru karenge." Someone showed this rule to their landlord, and the landlord replied, "This is written by AI. This is not a real law." This reaction reflects the mindset of India's rental ecosystem, which has operated on personal whims for years. But that mindset is changing. Laws are changing. The system is changing, and the lives of millions of tenants are entering a new phase, just like a progressing India. The greatest beauty of Rent Agreement 2025 is its fairness. It does not favor one side. It simply balances the rights and responsibilities of both parties. It gives security to tenants, legal clarity to landlords, and pushes the entire rental market toward becoming more formal, organized, and dispute-free. This is the identity of modern India. Rules that are both fair and practical. This law has been designed for an India that is moving towards cities, where migration is increasing, people are switching jobs, and careers are becoming dynamic. In such a time, rental housing is the backbone. And when the backbone itself gains clarity and structure, the whole system becomes stronger. The new rent agreement gives people the confidence that living on rent does not mean insecurity, rather, it means a dignified, protected, and planned life.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources: news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.